In this video, we're going to illuminate all of the aspects that we utilize in the electrical trades here at SAIT through the D2L program. We're going to start off on the main page. This is where you would see as soon as you logged in as an instructor. If you notice on the left-hand side, we have all of our instructor information. On the right-hand side, we have our announcement board. This is where we generally post things as instructors like, as you can see, holiday access. If there's questions, if we want to post links to actual keys that we have deposited somewhere else in the D2L, this is where we would post information like that. The students really respond to this announcement board as it gives them information that they need to be aware of. For example, if there's an upcoming quiz or if there's a deadline, as you can see here for what we have lab sign-offs, this just gives them a little bit of a heads up as far as that's concerned. The next portion that I want to take a look at is the most utilized, I would say, in the D2L that we use is the content section. In the content section, we have things like orientation information, frequently asked questions, additional information, but primarily we use it for individual course aspects. So we have our three-phase principles, three-phase motors, transformers. These would be the individual courses that the students are taking. I'm going to focus just at the moment on the transformers portion. As we click on there, we see right at the top as we start, we have our course evaluation and schedule. The students have access to the evaluation breakdown, as well as the schedule that they're looking at for the upcoming 8 weeks. Next, we have our print-based modules. This would give them a link to, for example, this gives them their introduction, learning outcomes, and objectives, so they always know what they're dealing with. If we go back to the page we were previously at, we'll go back to transformers. As we scroll down past the print-based modules, now we get into the multimedia resources. This is one aspect that I know personally I've used quite a bit. I'm going to click on this video link here. A lot of instructors have taken the time to create their own YouTube channels where we can upload instructional videos that we have created for the learners. If we click on any of these videos in particular, if we look at this, what this is a direct link to the YouTube channel that's embedded right into the D2L, where we don't have to leave the D2L page. We can actually access the video straight on the D2L page. This is highlighting one of the technologies that we use for our videos, the light board, which is a great resource that the students really seem to respond to. They seem to really enjoy having this additional information for them as they go through. So we'll go back to content, we'll go back to our transformers section. And past the multimedia resources, we have our handouts and keys area. This is where we would deposit keys for assignments that we've handed out in class. This saves on paper. We don't have to print out, 30 keys for all of the learners. We can just post the keys here and they can access them anytime they need. The next heading that I want to take a look at is the assessments. So in the assessments, this is where the instructor would have access to the tests that the individuals are taking. All of the tests in this shell are locked at the moment because this is a course that has passed, so we do not have access to that anymore. The grades themselves, this is where you can go in and you can check on the grades of the actual students, or if we go to manage grades, this is where we would access all of our gradable components. We can go in and edit individual components, their value, their weighting, all of that is accessed through the grades tab. The next that I want to take a look at is the communication. This is another heavily used aspect of the D2L, primarily this discussion board. If I open up the discussion, there's nothing currently in here at the moment, but there's a lot of peer-to-peer learning that happens in the discussion board as students tend to post things like questions they're struggling with in D2L content. As well, instructors can go in and post leading questions to hopefully inspire students to communicate with one another as well to answer the questions. So communication, you can also access email, where you can directly email a student or email the entire group if you want. Which takes us over to the course tools, where we can access things like attendance, user progress. If you want to check, the nice thing about user progress, you can actually see how a student is doing in real time. You can see when they've logged in last, when they are accessing the tests. Things like that are all available through our course tools. The class list is another one that we utilize quite a bit. This gives you all of student information. I have it set right now to student view, but if I was to go all, it would give me the information about all the students, all the instructors. If I want to just click primarily on students, I could do that as well. The reason I'm on student view is so that I can show you kind of the next portion here, which I can actually impersonate a student and see what the D2L shell looks like for a learner. So as soon as they log in, this is what they would see. It looks very similar to the instructor shell with restricted access to certain aspects. So content, they can still access all of the content that we've previously looked at. They can't upload things to the content. They can access the assessments where they can look at their tests. This is where they would primarily go to access their tests. They can check their grades as they're happening, keep up to date on things like that. They can access the discussion board. There's a few more options that are limited. They can't access the email option, but they can access the discussion board. They can access attendance, class list, things like that. So if we go back to our course home. So again, the D2L is really a robust program that allows us to explore more than just having online D2L tests, as you see in the content tab. There are a ton of things that we can add in there as well. And again, this is really just scratching the surface of the D2L program. Hopefully this has helped again illuminate kind of what some of the things are that we use the D2L program for.